Now we've reached that juicy top of the Apple mountain, which is the very pricey but premium 5K iMac. No, I don't own one, but my best friend Ross does, and he was gracious enough to let me play with it just about every day he's owned it, because I can't stop using it, and we're gonna be diving into my experience. Now with this iMac, there's one fancy thing you can do that you can't do with a lot of Macs: gaming. That's right, Ross plays quite a bit of games on his Mac, typically at around 4K resolution at 60 frames a second. He's also not even using Windows 10 to run some of these games. They run on macOS. It's a shame that when I was young, you know, there was absolutely no games on Mac, like at all. There was like 2. Now it's 2016 and Macs have tons of games that run absolutely fine now. Okay, fine. Now I don't even have time for gaming. I'm talking to you guys. Don't worry about it. I love you. Now, of course, PC still has way more games than Mac has, but luckily Macs have Boot Camp, which lets you put Windows 10 on your Mac if you need to. And yes, Windows 10 does run at 5K on this display, and he can run just about any game on there at very high resolution. So then you're probably wondering what he got for specs. Well, he did go completely all out. He got 4 gigabytes of GPU, an Intel i7 quad core that can turbo boost to 4.0 gigahertz, and 8 gigabytes of RAM, which he can upgrade later if he feels like. 27-inch iMacs let you access the RAM. It's got 3 terabytes of Fusion drive, and you know, not that it makes a huge difference, but this design is so beautiful. I hear it often as being described as like a laptop on a stick because this thing is amazingly thin. It's the thinnest all-in-one desktop I think I've ever seen or ever will exist. And to me, it's the pinnacle of desktop computers. It sits beautiful on any desk and just increases the value of any room it's in. It's amazing. You just feel richer, even though you just lost $3,000. And of course, I can carry every single awesome feature of macOS I said in my MacBook review over to this, as it receives your text. You can enable handoff, you have AirDrop, all kinds of things that make the Apple ecosystem work great. Here's the bottom line question though. Given that this particular iMac model costs $3,000, is this worth the money? Well, consider this. You were kind of getting a computer that can do anything except be mobile. Do you want it to participate in the single greatest tech ecosystem there is? Then you can do that. But do you also want to play any PC game above 1080p resolution at a high frame rate? You can do that. How about editing 4K videos or multicam high resolution camera footage? It does that very well, exports them very quickly, no frames drop. Yes, it does all of this, and it just can't be portable. So that's its one weakness. So that bottom line is, if you want a computer that can cover all bases of what a computer can ever be, here's your best buy, because this can do it all. That's why my friend Ross bought it. He wanted to cover any option he could ever want out of a computer. Now, in terms of gaming, I'm fully aware that you can get a gaming PC that performs very well for much cheaper, but you couldn't easily switch it over to macOS unless you go down the Hackintosh road, which I've heard it works, though I tried it and I failed miserably. And I would not recommend it. It just does not feel optimized, and you have to put in your own custom graphics. Some people made it work. I did not, and I messed with it for like a week. But listen, the 5K iMac was designed to run other operating systems other than macOS. Whereas shoving macOS, which was not designed to be put on other rigs that weren't Macs, shoving that into your gaming PC and then finding all the custom drivers to make it work just right, it's not a fun experience, and you're likely to run into problems because that software doesn't know where it is, and it's likely gonna get confused. So that's how I justify the incredibly enormous price tag. And if you do turn down these specifications all the way, you can get it as cheap as $1,800 with some pretty low specs, but nothing that would make the computer awful. But personally, that 5K display is so beautiful that it alone is worth that starting price. So just, you want to be blown away, even the cheapest one, it won't let you down. I unfortunately don't think I plan on getting one though, because I've used an iMac for the past 5 years, and I have absolutely no doubt that I would enjoy this, but the bottom line is I really need something that I can take with me. I willingly spend a ton of money on things like my iPhone and my iPad because those go anywhere, whereas your Mac, you can put in a ton of money into an iMac, but it's not coming with you, which means you don't get to use it all the time. You don't get to use it wherever you go. And while it is powerful for a better bang for your buck, I'm gonna have to go with the MacBook on this one, or the MacBook Pro when it comes out. So I'm not putting down my money on a 5K iMac, even though I'd really love it. Obviously, I just personally personally would want both a laptop and an iMac. It would work great together. But I have an old iMac. It's not great, but it's getting the job done. And the market of desktops is increasingly shrinking. And when a market shrinks, the company tends to decide to go all out because they realize, hey, if you're still buying it, it means it better do some pretty amazing things. And I think this 5K iMac is the coolest stationary desktop you can get for all the amazing things you can pull out with it. So yeah, this gets the easy Apple sheep. Yeah, duh. It's great as long as you got the money, and maybe you spend a lot of time at home because you're losing that portability factor that I kind of care about. So this is your Apple sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.